buying a concrete box as real estate and renting it out, surely can it make as much money? It can't make as much money as a house or a unit. Stay tuned. We're going to tell you if they're a good investment to buy storage units.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Oh, good morning. Storage
Hello,
King.
Billy Bob. Hey, how are you, the old man in a young man's body?
I'm really good. I'm actually quite excited to talk about this because we're both a bit of a fan of storage. I've lost your audio.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
It's a big emerging market, and people are often scratching their heads because it's an emerging market. It's a foreign market that we're not used to the last 10, 20 or 30 years in real estate, but there's a lot of money being plugged into storage. People are buying these storage units and they're renting them out, or they're using them. What are you seeing out there, Bill?
Well, there's two things that I scratch my head over. One is it always seems that there's a lot of people doing it, storage. You've got your mate who's renting out your lock-up garage for $50 a week and happy to just do a bit of a cashy on the side. And then you've got these giants like Storage King who have got a multi-million-dollar compound where you can drive your truck in, you've got 24/7 access, swipe cards. It's gone really, really technical and seem to be doing really well from it. And then everywhere in between. So one, there seems to be a lot of people doing it. And then two, there's people that, want it to rent and to buy for so many different reasons.
So today we've picked this apart. We've shown some trends of people that have bought 5 or 10 years ago and shown you how much they have not made or they have made. To why we've also picked apart why it's doing well in our opinion. Because it's almost, it's not a joke, but it's almost amusing when you think to yourself, people really renting that stuff, or they're really buying that stuff. Yes, this is a real thing. It is. It's a lot of people's weekly pay, or it's a lot of people's superannuation that they're buying these storage units for. So it's a big ticket item now.
Yeah. So let's get into the numbers because I think this is where it gets interesting. We're going to talk about this morning the capital growth side of things. Now I'm going to move this way a little bit, but it's a little bit hard to make out there, but that is the numbers of how much people have made or not made, as you said. And these are across 3 sites that Mark's been really heavily involved with selling. And we've now retained some of the rental business, I believe. So it's Brookvale and Cromer, 3 local storage facilities on the northern beaches. And kindly from the team, we've got some data to show you.
Tell me
Talk
more.
us through it. All right, I'll tell you more. So on the far right column, capital growth, that's what we really want to know about. You can see there's some pretty astonishing numbers there. Across the 3 sites, from what I can see there, it's as sort of as low as 34%, 33%, which is still pretty impressive. 29% at the bottom there for Cromer, and getting as high as 75%. So how does that work, Mark? That's almost approaching doubling their money over the period they've owned them. In the near future, I reckon. We've lost Mark again. But from what I can see here, and I've not actually leased or sold any of these units, but I know the sites and their locations. It seems to be that there's quite a variety of people getting into these storage units. Mark, tell us, why are they making such strong growth? Because they're not very old.
You know what? It's an emerging market because I think COVID would have helped it a little bit. I think people just love having that extra base that they can work from, get out of the house, and they can go to the storage unit, pick some stuff up, drop some stuff up, hang out a little bit maybe. It's e-commerce. I think a lot of e-commerce businesses have exploded over the years. So they don't quite need a big factory for their e-commerce business. They just need a couple of cubes to store their stock within that. So if you
We've lost you for a sec.
these things are anywhere from a garage.
Yep.
So they're anywhere. I guess if you can imagine a garage on ground floor, but there's like 100 of them all together, and then some of them are extra high, as in 5 meters, almost double the height of a garage. Some of them are extra long, double the
Mezzanine storage.
Just to give people a reference.
Yeah. So yeah, some of these have got mezzanine storage. Some have got the ability to pull a truck straight in, where your typical storage facility or garage can't, and that's quite appealing to some of these small commercial business owners or landlords. What percentage of these that you're selling are going to an owner-occupier or investor?
I would say it's really funny that they are both, which is very different to residential. Often when these sell, people have an attitude that it's going to swing both ways, that they will use it at some time or another for themselves, and they will rent it out at some time or another. So I would say, which is very different to how people buy units or houses. It's going to do one thing for the rest of its life, that's it. But this tends to do both. If I was strictly speaking, I'd say people buying with a blended approach, these properties, would be about 60%. We're not sure if we're going to rent it, or we're not sure if we're going to use it ourselves. I would then say the remainder, sort of 20%, will be no, it's going to be investment. The remainder 20% would be I'd say 50% would be blended, 25 would be investor only, or using it only for themselves, owner occupied only.
Yeah, good to know. So as you say, that can be anyone from someone who just needs a bit of space at home, wants to keep the boss happy, maybe just declutter a little bit, to someone who has got some stock that they need to just move out of the house, or the business, or moving sites. So many different reasons.
So before we get rid of this graph, I just want to say there's about 4 storage facilities that are for sale on the northern beaches, or we've sold down, sold out in the northern beaches. These 4, this is people that have bought in there, have then consequently some people have sold, and then we've tracked all that data to show you the growth they've had. So the rents have been very good, and the capital growth has been excellent. The capital growth has probably been consistent with units and houses as well. So you would never really think as a storage unit is making capital growth, as in the value doubles or goes up, but it's definitely done that, and that is living proof of it.
It's amazing. And I know before we move on to the next one, all in all, it's a great investment, but they're not small purchase prices, some of these, or selling prices. We're talking up to a few $100,000. It's a lot of money.
We've sold a couple for 500, 600,000. Car enthusiasts absolutely love them. I've sold one the other day to a lady where she's storing all of her books. So they're moving from a house in St. Ives, and they're going into an apartment, and they want a place to store all their books. There's a lot of people with superannuation, so having 200 or 300,000 in superannuation between you and your wife, or another family member, is not unheard of. So people are buying these with their super, and then they're renting them out. Tradies love these storage facilities because they can store the big dirty stuff. It actually keeps people in their homes for longer because often their homes get stressed because of storage. So when they can actually strip that away, they can enjoy their home more or for longer.
Really well said.
They can empty out that third bedroom sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think when you look at it on a wider geographic area, much more than just Sydney, it goes on to say that some of these sectors have been growing at 14% a year, which is really, really impressive. So you can see there from the top to the bottom, Adelaide, Sydney, Perth, Brisbane, Melbourne, they've all done some really strong numbers. So revenue growth, over the last 12 months to July of this year. Adelaide's leading the race at 14%. Sydney's close behind at 12%. And this is what surprises me. Average fees per square metre in Sydney is $425.
Yeah, so I guess to reference that for people, a double garage, which is sort of about 15 plus 15, like 32 metres squared, in Cromer, which is probably the cheaper of the commercial areas in the northern beaches, cheapest, I'd say. That's getting about 200, 220 a week, a week. So then, the rate of return's pretty good. It's pretty much about a 5% return, if you're wondering, which is similar to a 2-bedroom unit or a 1-bedroom unit, and it's actually probably a bit better than a house gets for rent. So the actual that return that you're getting on storage, not bad at all.
That's it. But I think the winner here for many people is that there's far less tenant interaction, tenant maintenance if you are renting them out, less headaches that sometimes are put off for people, particularly if they're buying it as just a straightforward investment. They don't want the headaches. It's almost like locking the money away in the bank.
And you're not maintaining a human, as in you're just maintaining boxes in the property. So it's a little bit easier to maintain with repairs, maintenance. You're not doing kitchens, you're not doing bathrooms. It's just a big concrete box. So it doesn't need a lot of money invested in it, for rejuvenation over 10 or 15 years. And not only that, it's an expensive thing to build. So the build cost is generally is surprisingly high for these guys. So I think that protects it a little bit for. You're not going to see like an oversaturation of storage units in the market. We certainly haven't seen it in the last 10 years. And that's storage units today, Billy Bob. That's storage unit. There's plenty to talk about.
That's plenty to talk about. But yeah, if you're curious to buy, you can't live in it, but you can certainly buy it to use it or rent it out. Yeah, get in touch with the team because they're experts.
That's it. And something that I get asked all the time: can people run their business from it? You definitely can, in terms of storage for your business. But I think setting a desk up and staying there 10 hours a day, I don't hear of that much. But it's more for, your e-commerce business and storing your stuff and collecting and dropping off 10, 20, 30 times a day. Another thing that I love about them is they're open 24 hours a day. So a bit different to, like retail, for instance, but you can get in and out of here all day, all night to do stuff.
It's well said. Good investment. There's the numbers for you. Get in touch.
There it is. Love you. See you. Bye.